While using package managers make installing software easy, you may encounter software you want to install that doesn't have a package for your distribution. Fortunately, another option is frequently available. For many programs, you can download the source code for the program and compile it yourself. The process is straightforward and you don't need to be a programmer to do it. The first thing we need to do is install the tools needed to build the software. Many times, they aren't installed by default. There are 11 packages I will install here. Don't worry if you miss this command or are confused. I have provided all the commands I use in these videos in the course files. After I confirm the installation, it will download all the files and install them. I'll pause the video here and come back when it's done. Now that we have our tools installed, we can get started installing our software. I'm going to use the popular version control software Git for this example. By default, Git isn't installed on our system. We could install it using the package management system, but let's pretend it isn't available, or we just want to customize the installation in some way. Whatever the reason may be, we will install it manually. The first thing to do is download the source code. The code is usually available for download in a compressed tar archive, affectionately called a tarball. I've gone ahead and found the URL for the tarball. We can use the wget utility to download the file without a web browser. Now that the file is downloaded, we can extract it using the same commands we saw in a previous video. tar, xfz, and then the tarball. The files in these tarballs are frequently stored in a subdirectory, as we can see here. We need to change our working directory to that directory to continue. Before we can compile the code, we need to configure the build environment. This configuration will check to ensure that we have all the proper software installed on the system needed to build the code, and determine where the files will be installed. This is also the time where you can modify any of this configuration. If we look at the install help file, we can see that we can change the directory using the -- prefix option. For this example, we will just use the defaults and run the configure command without any options. This command will create a special file called a makefile. The make utility uses this file to properly build and install the software on the system. Now that the makefile has been built with the configure command, we can run make to compile the code. This will take a while, so I'm going to pause the video so we can skip ahead to the point where it finishes compiling. The compilation process has finished, and we are ready to move on to the next step of installing the software. The makefile we use to build the software also contains information on where to install it. We can use the make command again, and this time use the install option to install the software. Since we are installing the software into system directories, we need to temporarily get root permissions by using sudo. We can use the command sudo make install. We can check that the software is installed and the correct version is being used using the command git -- version. We have now installed the software manually. It isn't easy to uninstall as when we use the package manager, but we won't worry about that right now. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you won't need to do this often. The vast majority of the software you use will be available as a package. However, it is important to at least be familiar with this process should you ever need to do it.